Hello, my name is Donald Sharpson and I'm a multi-genre producer from Ireland based in London. I'm here to tell you guys how I made an EP in one day using Reason. When I moved to London first, I bumped into these boys called Shore, aka Tim and Luke, who I signed to my record label Chocky Bicky Records. They're a bunch of breakbeat producers, they make a lot of jungle, hardcore vibes, that kind of thing. But when we got into the studio, lo and behold, we just started making trance, and we made a plethora of trance music. So we had a whole EP ready, and it was signed to a big trance artist label, and we were absolutely chuffed about it, and we were hyping up all our mates, and we even set up a new project called Boy Racer to promote the release. Did the press shoots, did everything, had the artwork even ready, contract was signed, and 2 weeks before the release, fortunately, the label just were going in a different direction. They didn't want to release the tracks, which is perfectly fair enough. It's unusual that it happened, but it did happen. But the issue was we were stuck in a situation where we were hyping up this release to come out in a few weeks, and we didn't have any tracks because we didn't want to break any contracts or anything like that. So we decided, right, it was the Sunday, we said, right, on the Monday, we're just going to go after work, spend all of our time in the studio and make a brand new EP. So I got up Monday morning, I got on my daily commute, crack open the laptop, and I get started on my first track. By the time I get to my destination, I've one track done. Then I go teach my class, have a little break. During that break, got my second track done. Have my lunch break, bit more time, so I do my third track. By the time I got to the studio with the boys, I had 4 tracks done. We looked at the tracks, we cleaned them up a bit. Tim had a great idea for a song. We made the 5th track there on the spot, and that's how the Boy Racer EP came to be. 2 weeks later, our first single came out. Now, to do this quick workflow, I did 3 techniques pretty much. First technique was I built up Combinator patches. So I've been producing for about 15 years now. So I just have rakes of Combinator patches built up. The second one was I do a technique called the tower and the upside down pyramid. And this is mainly for getting nice ideas out and a bit of arrangement. The third idea I had was to use blocks to set out my arrangements, and then that will be my templates for my tracks. There are 4 benefits you're going to find. First of all, you're going to get a really quick workflow going. So I work long hours. I don't really have a lot of time to produce anymore. I mainly only produce on my commute to work. So I need to be quick and just start making tracks very, very quickly. Second benefit you're going to find is it's a really, really good way to stop writer's block. If you're suffering from writer's block and you don't even know where to get started, following this technique, it gives you a little template of where to get started, and then the ideas will eventually start to come. The third benefit to this is you're going to start developing a consistent sound. But if you have a consistent sound, it means you can start to build a consistent listenership. And to do that, you really need to have a consistent sound. I always change genres and I go into subgenres and all that thing, but it kind of annoys people. And the reason is, if you go to the chicken shop and you order a 6-piece and they give you a bloody pizza, you're going to be upset. And it's the same with musicians. If you want to go to one artist for a specific sound, if people like you enough and you start to branch out, they'll follow you eventually. But to get those initial listeners, it's very important that you get a consistent sound. And the fourth, and probably the biggest benefit these days, is you have a consistent release schedule going. You have a quick workflow and you can make tracks very, very quickly. You're going to have constantly tracks coming out. This Boy Racer EP, we released over the space of 10 weeks. Every 2 weeks we had a brand new single. We've got a lot of competition these days as music producers. We're competing with social media, we're competing with people's attention spans really. That's why you really just got to start putting out those tunes quickly. So now I'm just going to show you guys how I've developed these 3 techniques to get a quick workflow going, and then you guys can make an EP in one day if you want to as well. Some of these techniques you might already know, they might not be applicable, but stick around anyway, you might learn something new. I've opened up my Reason. I've set the BPM to 150 over here. The reason I've done that is because I want to keep going on with this Lo-Fi Trance vibe that I've been working on. And if you see here on my left, I've got all of my Combinator patches here. And this is what I was talking about. Over the time, over about 15 years, I've been building up Combinator patches here. Rather than just starting a new track and not knowing where to go, I can just throw down a Combinator patch of kicks, claps, any of these drums, and it'll just instantly load up. So I don't have to be kind of fidgeting around. I don't have to be coming up with any ideas. And I can just be so creative, because that's what it's all about. It's just about keeping that creative flow. And then later on, you can start doing the technical stuff. So I'm just going to drag over my Combinator patch. And I like to have all of my drums on the right and all of my synths on the left. So if you see here in this Combinator patch, basically what it is it's a mixer and I've got a re-drum here with 4 different kicks. Okay, and each kick, if you look at the back, goes into an EQ and a compressor and then back into the mixer. Now, you'll see I've got A, B, C, D. Okay, A is assigned to this kick, B, this kick, C, this kick, and D, that kick. I've got 8 different patterns that are all on each kick, but I can just start playing around with the different sounds. So here's A1, standard little 4 to the floor techno trancey kick. Now, if I want to hear that on my 909, I can just press B here and I can pick my 1, and that's kind of your more acid house, acid techno kind of vibe. Then if I want an 808, I just press the C, more bassy. And then if I want the kind of EDM kick, I just press the D here. Now, here's the thing, here's the kicker. I've got different patterns for each type of those kicks. So I've got a kind of Jersey club kind of kick, or more of like a stuttering kick, more like a psytrance vibe. Then this next one is more of a Jersey club kind of vibe. Then on number 4, I've got my halftime one for breakbeat, drum and bass, anything like that. Then I start getting into the build-ups. If I want to build up, I've got the 8s, then I've got the 16s, and then I've just got the 1, and then I got the 32s. That for each sound. So if I go to B and I go to B1, it's going to be the 909 doing that. And then I've got the Jersey Club for the 909. And then I got the breakbeat for the 909, yada, yada, yada. If I want the EDM sound, I go D, D4 like that. Now I like the sound of this because it's got a lot of high end, it's got a lot of mid, and it's got a lot of bass. So I'm going to go D1 here. Yeah, nice 4 to the floor. And I'm going to just copy that down, copy that pattern down to my track. That's pretty much it for the drums now. That's my kick drum donezo. I've got my kick. Next thing is my clap. Again, I've made a lovely little combinator here, just trance claps. And it's the same principle, the exact same principle. Very crunchy, very trancey. So I can just copy that pattern down. And now look at this. I've also got another combinator here. This is for my open hi-hat. And same thing again, this open hi-hat, like I've got A1 here. A2 is going to be my different sounding hi-hat. A3 is a different one. A4. So I can kind of tell which one I'm kind of feeling for this kind of sound. So that's the first one. That sounds pretty good. Easy. Donezo. So now I've pretty much just done my drums, okay? And now we're kind of going into the second part of it, which is building up your tower. And as you can see here, I've just got all my layers here. I've got my kicks, my claps, and then I've got my open hi-hat, and I'm just going to keep building on that. So next up, I want to get like a kind of, let's say a bouncy bass or whatever. I've already done all this. I've already done my bouncy bass. So I'm just going to grab over the Combinator. I have an instance here of Serum, and I've got a nice little preset I got off Splice. And then I've just added a kind of sidechain compressor to it. I've got a nice little bouncy bass there. So I'm just going to quickly record just something quick. Going to put on my click, going to quantize by 1/16. Do a nice little F minor little bass line. Now, again, to stay in the creative flow, I'm not going to go in, I'm not going to change the velocity of these notes, I'm just going to keep it going. So next up, I like to use a little combinator patch here of basically what I call the custom Boy Racer one. So as you can see here, I've got my custom made Boy Racer Reason combinator, okay? This combinator patch has got a few things going on with it, okay? First of all, it's a mixer. I love having the mixer here. Then I've got my 2 little reverbs going on with it as well, and that's just as a send. It's not going through serially; it's going through parallel. Then I've got some chords on top of an NNXT sampler, and in this sampler, I've just got a basic female vocal just doing 1 note. That's all, just doing 1 little note. And what I love about this custom patch that I made is I can actually just bypass everything, and now you can just hear it normally. So it's basically just the chords and just a female vocal sound. But check it out, this is it with all of the lovely effects that I've got on in it. I can start to mess around with the reverb. I can actually start to mess around with the notes amount as well. How many notes are being played at the time. So I can put that up. Now I'm just going to record, again, just a simple basic idea, simple 4-bar idea. pretty straightforward. Now, you kind of have to do the homework first before you can get it that simple, okay? You gotta build up your Combinator patch library. Next up, I'm just gonna add some strings, and I'm just gonna copy over, gonna hold Alt, just copy over the notes I played in the gated vocal. Next, we're gonna go into the arrangement of the track, and this is where I do what I like to call the tower and the upside down pyramid. So as you can see here, I've got a lovely tower here. I'm going to put the drums on top, and then I'm just going to press Command D, Command D, Command D, Command D, Command D, Command D, up to around bar 32 here, okay? Next, I'm just going to start making an upside down pyramid. So this is kind of the shape that you want to start getting. So now that we have that shape of the upside down pyramid, I'm just going to play it for you. We just got the kick. This is perfect for DJs. Next, we got the clap, followed by the open hi-hat. Followed by the bass coming in. Now we've basically got our intro for a track, okay? And now we're gonna go to the third part, and what the third part is it's using blocks to figure out what the arrangement is. And blocks to me indicate the total arrangement, not just for this track, but we're going to use it as a template for the rest of the EP. What I like to do is you go up to options here and you go enable blocks. So I'm just going to draw 24 bars here of a block, and if I click in here, I can rename that intro. So you can call it whatever you want. I'm just going to call it intro. I've done that previously, so it's popping up for me. So next up, I'm going to do my second one, and this is going to be what's called the build-up. So I go into my build-up, and I'm just going to change the color. I'm going to go to block 3. Lovely, nice little cream. I'm just going to double-click, and then I'm going to call this build up. Okay? Next, I'm going to get my drop. So I'm going to do 16 bars, and I might even do this twice, okay? I'm going to put this as block 11. Nice red there. So again, double-click into it, and I'm just going to call this, let's just call it, I don't know, my chorus or something like that. Then I'm just going to duplicate this, press Command D, okay? And I'm just going to grab my build up here, and I'm going to put it over this chorus part. And then I'm going to have a big breakdown. So I'm going to make this, a nice dark magenta. I'm colorblind, so I hope it's magenta, right? I'm just going to call this breakdown. And then I'm just going to grab the two choruses, okay? So then we got our build up here. And instead of another breakdown, I'm just going to grab this intro, squish it down, and actually I'm going to turn that into my outro, okay? And this is what we're going to do. We're actually just going to do the reverse of the upside down pyramid, finishing off, right? So I'm going to grab all the elements, going to press Command D, Command D, Command D, and I'm just going to finish off that beautiful upside down pyramid on the other side, okay? So we've got our intro and our outro done. So Bob's our uncle, Billy's our auntie, right? That's pretty much the templates for the track. So now that I've my intro done and I've my outro done, next to do is the choruses or the drops or whatever you want to call them. So I'm just going to fill that in, okay? So again, I just grab all of the elements and I just literally fill it in. So that's the red one done, okay? Next up is the build up. Now the build up shouldn't really have any kicks, and it probably shouldn't have any bass. So I can just be selective. I can grab my claps and my hi-hats, and I can grab my synths. Okay? And now I can just do the same for this. This is a clear visual indicator of what I need to do. Okay? I'm also going to add in a drum build-up. So again, I go back to my library of combinators, and I'm going to grab my drum build-up here. This is a custom-made combinator that I've already done here. Basically what it is it's just a load of snares playing. I've got some custom control here for the pitch. I've got some custom control here for the length, all that kind of stuff. And it's all being controlled by one knob over here. So I can edit this in automation, pop it down, just draw a little triangle here. So let me just solo this so you can hear what I'm talking about. So as you see here, the length, the pitch, all of that stuff is being lifted up as well. So it's just one button. And now I put that into my build-up, and I know by the colors where I should be putting all of this, okay? That is the basis for my track here. My track is pretty much done, okay? I've got the whole layout. It's, 3 minutes? Absolutely perfect. These days, trance is very quick. So I just saved it, because then I got to get on my tube, okay? So I saved it. I also saved it as track 2. Okay? So then let's imagine now this is track 2. So I got track 2 here. This is the exact same thing, okay? So you're thinking, what the hell is he doing? It's the exact same track. Get rid of all of your melodies. We've got everything here. So we've got all of our intros, our build-ups, our chorus. We've got all the arrangement already made. But now what we can do is we can actually just change the simple things like the sounds. So for example, I'm going to go for D3. Jersey Club kind of vibes. Going to copy that, copy pattern to track. Go down to my claps. I might even change the sound of the clap. What do we got here? Change the length. Change down the reverb maybe. It's a bit metallic, sounds good. Gonna copy that pattern to the track. Now let's go to the open hi-hat. So rather than doing the first one, I can just go to the second one. Yeah, perfect. So now let's see how that's sounding so far. And already I've got a new vibe for a brand new track. So again, we just do the upside down pyramid for that. Now let's change up the bass sound, okay? So I've got my bouncing bass sound. I might change that to a jungle synth, a jungle re-serum synth or something like that. And now I might start writing out my jungle bass line, okay? Let's do it. I'm going to change the key to A minor. Something like that. That sounds pretty good. And if I want, I can change it to an 8-bar phrase, 4-bar phrase, whatever it is, okay? So now I'm going to go back to my custom vocal synth. I'm going to change it to A minor in the scale. So I'm going to go change this up a bit. Maybe I might even just bypass the whole thing so it's just this. Yeah, I don't really like the sound of that. Let's put it to one note like this. Awesome. Okay, so let's add some effects here. Now we're talking. Okay, so now I got a totally darker vibe on this. So it's just a single gated voice, all right? Let's hear it. 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. And now let's do the same with the trance strings. I'm going to go higher up this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. So again, I just do the same principle of the tower and then the upside down pyramid. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that. So I'm going to pop the same thing. I'm going to do it the same thing for the outro. Copy it like that. We're going to finish off the upside down pyramid. All right. I might even do it like this. And then we just start filling it in like this. Now, just to change things up, okay, this is where we start adding maybe different elements, different arrangement things, okay? But honestly, don't bother too much, all right? People don't want to hear that kind of stuff, all right? They don't want to hear creativity anymore. It's all about Spotify plays, am I right? Now, what I might do is just have this on its own, and I might just take out the bass line on its own, something like that for the build-up. Now, let's have a little listen. Oh. I might even bypass this for the drop. And then as you go on, as you listen to the track, I just want you to start adding in some stuff maybe. You know, play it by ear. Now obviously, that's not great, it's a bit rough, but it doesn't matter. You're on the tube, you gotta get to where you're going, alright? So let's save this as track 2, and you'll come back to it at the studio later. And then again, file, save as, and we're gonna do the same thing, track 3. Let's start again, okay? We've got our arrangement done. Arrangement is pretty much there, okay? Let's leave those snares, why not? And actually, do you know, even if you're using Foley effects or anything like that, impact sounds, just leave them in the track, okay? So again, same thing. Let's go for a 909. We're going to go for a different pattern here. So B2. Yeah, pop that up there, yeah. I'm going to change up my clap. So let's hear another sound. That sounds good. I might even get rid of the reverb. Copy that pattern to track. Dunzo. Next up, the hi-hats. Let's go for number 3. Oh, nice and clangy. Perfect. So now let's hear it. Ooh, and we're getting we're getting a bit ghetto techie. Fantastic, okay? So I'm going to keep this Serum sub-jungle respace. You can do this on tour as well, very simply, okay? And I'm going to change the key. Let's think C minor, one of my favorites. And this time, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to change the phrasing of this. Instead of it being 4 bars, it is now going to be 8 bars, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. And do an 8-bar phrase this time, why not? Beautiful, and don't forget, make sure that when you're recording, quantize is on. So let's go back to our iconic Boy Racer now, sounding, which is synonymous now with the Boy Racer sound, this kind of trancey vocal, and let's see what we can start coming up with. Nah, it doesn't really work. Let's turn off the chords maybe. And let's turn off the gate. Perfect. And then I'm just going to pop up maybe the filter. And let's hear what we got. I might even add a harmony, so I'm just going to add a dub onto it. Perfect. And now we just add some strings. I might just go up. I'm going to add some just kind of high 90s string here. Even if you're not too happy with this idea, just save it, all right? Save it, keep working on. Keep it quick, keep it going, okay? And then just follow the same routine over and over again. Now, once you're done that with like 4 tracks, okay, they are going to sound very similar. And a keen listener will recognize that this is the exact same arrangement. Well, that's no problem. All you can do is, right, let's just change it up. Rather than having this as an intro, why don't we just go straight in? So, straight in from a breakdown into our first drop. Okay, so let's get rid of the drums. We're going to move this over. That's a part of the second drop. And we might have our bass in here now. Maybe, experiment with it. So even though it's still bare bones, right, in the space of 20 minutes, we've already done 3 ideas, okay? That's 3 tracks of an EP there. You could release that next. All you need to do now is just sit down with it and just make sure that the tracks sound different enough, that it's a cohesive sound, but it's also a bit varied. Right, guys, I hope this was helpful for you. This is how I produce because I'm stuck for time. Obviously, if you have a bit more time, put a bit more work into varying it up a bit, unlike me. I love that Command-D, love copying and pasting. But I hope you enjoy the tunes. Please do check out my new EP, Boy Racer. My name is Sharpson. Big ups to Reason Crew for having me, and I hope you've learned something.